Section 1. The Ambition Trap and the Death of the Dreamer. 1.1. The Illusion of Achievement. The greatest enemy of a warrior is not a stronger opponent, but the comfort of his own mind. In the story of Yuki, we see a phenomenon called identity claiming. When Yuki speaks about his grand plans to become the greatest samurai, his brain cannot distinguish between the fantasy and the reality. Neurobiologically, every time you share your big goals, your brain receives a hit of dopamine. This chemical reward makes you feel as if you have already achieved something great. Consequently, the urgency to actually train or work disappears. You become drunk on your own potential while remaining physically stagnant. 1.2. The dreamer's high versus the warrior's mud. Why is it so hard to start? Because the dream is perfect, while the work is ugly. In Yuki's mind, he is a master who never misses a strike. But in the training yard, he would be a beginner who trips in the mud and misses his targets. Ambition creates a high standard that the ego is afraid to fail. This is why ambitious but lazy people often procrastinate. They are protecting their ego from the humiliation of being a beginner. To Miyamoto Musashi, the ego was a weight. To have unbreakable energy, you must be willing to kill the perfect dreamer and embrace being the ugly beginner. 1.3. The Curse of Preparation. We often disguise our laziness as preparation. Yuki told himself he needed to read more scrolls and study more maps before he could touch a sword. In the modern world, this is the person who buys 10 books on business but never starts a shop, or the artist who watches 100 tutorials but never picks up a brush. Musashi taught that the way is in training. True energy is generated through friction, the friction of your blade against the air, your feet against the ground. If you spend your life preparing, you are simply drifting further away from the mastery that only comes from doing. 1.4. Killing the talk. The final part of this trap is the social reward. When we tell people our goals, their validation acts as a counterfeit success. Musashi lived a life of relative silence. He didn't seek the approval of the tea houses. He sought the truth of the sword. Unbreakable energy requires silence. By not talking about what you will do, you preserve that internal pressure. That pressure eventually forces you to act. You must learn to value the quiet sweat of the morning more than the loud praise of the evening. Section 2. The Law of Essentialism and Schedule Surgery. 2.1. Do nothing which is of no use. In the Book of Five Rings, Miyamoto Musashi wrote a sentence that is the ultimate antidote to modern burnout. Do nothing which is of no use. Most of us are not tired because we are doing too much of what matters. We are tired because we are leaking energy into 1,000 useless directions. Every time you engage in an internet argument, check a notification during work, or worry about a situation you cannot control, you are performing a useless strike. In a duel, a useless strike leaves you open to be killed. In life, a useless activity leaves your spirit empty. 2.2. The Strategy of the One Strike. Musashi observed that amateur swordsmen move too much. They dance, they shout, and they wave their swords in fancy patterns to look intimidating. But the master remains still. The master understands the economy of motion. He waits for the perfect moment for the one strike. This is the core of essentialism. Your energy is a finite battery. If you spread it across 20 different tasks, you achieve nothing. But if you focus 100% of that energy on your one strike, the single most important move for your career or health, you become unstoppable. 2.3. The Surgery. Cutting the leaks. To live like a samurai, you must become a surgeon of your own schedule. You must look at your daily habits and ask, is this of use? The people leak. Are you spending energy trying to please people who don't care about your growth? The digital leak. Is your phone a tool for your path or a parasite eating your focus? The ego leak. Are you doing things just to look pretty or successful to others? Cutting these out is painful, like surgery, but it is necessary to save the life of your purpose. When you remove the useless, your energy reserves suddenly refill. You aren't lazy, you are just leaking. 2.4. The freedom of no. A samurai's sword is for cutting, and your most powerful tool is the word no. Many people feel exhausted because they are yes men. They say yes to every request, every distraction, and every social obligation. Musashi walked alone because he knew that to master the way, one must be willing to say no to everything that leads away from it. By saying no to the trivial, you are saying a massive yes to your soul. Freedom is not the ability to do everything. It is the strength to do only what is essential. Section 3. The battle rhythm and the power of habit. 3.1. Timing is everything. Musashi wrote, "There is timing in everything. Timing and strategy cannot be mastered without much practice." Exhaustion often comes from being out of sync, like trying to row a boat against a heavy current. Most people force themselves to work when their body is screaming for rest, or they rest when they should be striking. A samurai aligns his actions with the natural rhythms of life. By establishing a battle rhythm, you stop fighting yourself. Your energy becomes a steady flow because you know exactly when to push and when to preserve. 3.2. Habit, the infinite generator. Willpower is like a battery. It runs out. Every decision you make, what to eat, when to start, how to answer, drains that battery. Musashi's secret to unbreakable energy was to turn as many actions as possible into wei, michi, or habits. When a movement is practiced 10,000 times, the brain stops using willpower and starts using the subconscious. This is the infinite generator. By automating your morning, your training, and your work, you save your decision energy for the actual duel. 3.3. Kaizen Nomi, the power of small steps. Kaizen Nomi, the samurai understood the way of small improvements. The mountain is climbed one step at a time. Many fail because they try to change their entire life in a single day. This creates high friction and leads to burnout. Musashi's philosophy encourages focusing on the single, repetitive cut. If you improve just 1% every day, you are twice as strong in a few months. This small, steady progress builds internal momentum. Momentum is the wind at the back of a warrior. It makes the hardest tasks feel effortless. 3.4. Alignment with reality. A warrior does not fight the sunrise, he uses it. To have unbreakable energy, your battle rhythm must align with your biological reality. Musashi did not work in shadows. He aligned his life with the light. In modern terms, this means understanding your peak energy hours. If you are a morning person, your one strike must happen at dawn. Fighting your own nature is an energy leak. When your schedule matches your spirit, you move with the grace of a master, and fatigue becomes a ghost of the past. Section 4. Mind like water and reactive mastery. 4.1. Mizu no kokoro, the reflective spirit. Musashi taught the concept of Mizu no kokoro, or mind like water. Imagine a still pond. If the moon shines over it, the water reflects the moon perfectly. If a bird flies over it, the water reflects the bird. The water does not try to hold on to the moon, nor does it fear the bird. It simply reflects reality as it is. Most people are exhausted because their minds are like turbulent rapids. They overreact to every small stone thrown their way. By practicing a reflective mind, you stop wasting energy on internal drama. 4.2. The energy cost of overreaction. Every time you get angry at a traffic jam or stay hurt by a minor criticism for 3 days, you are leaking massive amounts of energy. From a samurai perspective, This is a fatal flaw. In a duel, if your mind is stuck on a previous move, you cannot see the next strike coming. To have unbreakable energy, you must learn to reset instantly. If something bad happens, acknowledge it, react proportionately, and then return to stillness. Don't let a 5-minute problem ruin a 24-hour day. 4.3. Detachment, the shield of the spirit. Musashi practiced a level of indifference to the outside world that protected his focus. This is not about being cold-hearted, it is about being centered. When you are detached from the opinions of others, you no longer give them the power to drain your battery. Whether you are praised or insulted, your water stays calm. This detachment creates a psychological shield. While others are exhausted by the emotional roller coasters of life, the samurai stands firm, preserving his energy for the path he has chosen. 4.4. Stillness in motion. The ultimate mastery of energy is to find stillness even in the middle of a battle. Musashi wrote about having a broad view, even when focused on a single point. If you are too narrow, you become tense. Tension burns energy. If you stay relaxed and calm like water, you can move faster and longer. This is the secret of high-performance energy. The less you stress about the chaos, the more power you have to master it. Stillness is not the absence of action, it is the presence of total control. Section 5. Dokudo and commitment over emotion. 5.1. The way of walking alone. Dokudo. A week before he died, Miyamoto Musashi wrote Dokudo, 21 Principles for Future Generations. The core message is simple. True strength comes from within, not from outside validation. To have unbreakable energy, you must be willing to walk alone. This means being okay with being misunderstood, being okay with working while others are playing, and being okay with your own company. When you stop looking for the crowd to cheer you on, you stop wasting energy on performance. You become self-sufficient, a closed-loop system of power. 5.2. Commitment versus emotion. The samurai had a saying, "I am not controlled by my feelings, I am guided by my commitments." This is the ultimate secret to overcoming laziness. Laziness is just an emotion, and emotions are like the weather. They change every hour. If you only act when you feel like it, you are a leaf in the wind. But if you act because you have committed, you are the mountain. Unbreakable energy is found in the decision to pick up the sword even when your body feels heavy and your mind feels dull. Discipline is the art of moving through the resistance of your own emotions. 5.3. The sword that leaves the sheath. The sword that waits for perfect conditions never leaves its sheath. We must accept that ready is an illusion. There will never be a perfect time to start your project, your workout, or your life's work. The samurai understood that strength is built in the mud, not on the pedestal. By starting before you are ready, you generate the heat of action. This heat creates the energy you are waiting for. In the end, preparation is often just a fancy word for fear. To be a master, you must be willing to start messy, start tired, but most importantly, start. 5.4. Conclusion. Your mind is the only sword. The 10,000-mile journey to unbreakable energy ends where it began, inside your mind. Miyamoto Musashi's life shows us that human energy is not a limited resource, but a flow that is blocked by ego, uselessness, and emotional reaction. Cut away the trivial, build your battle rhythm, stay calm like water, and never stray from the way. Your sword is not made of steel, it is made of your focus and your will. Sharpen it every day, and you will find that the energy you seek has been inside you all along, waiting for you to simply pick up the blade and move. 10 lessons from the samurai for unbreakable energy. 1. Kill the dreamer, feed the warrior. Stop rewarding yourself with the dopamine of future plans. Real energy is born from action, not from talking about your ambitions. 2. Do nothing which is of no use. Every useless activity is an energy leak. To have more power, you don't need to do more. You need to remove the trivial. 3. Motivation is a myth. Rhythm is reality. Don't wait for the right feeling. Build a battle rhythm where your work becomes as automatic and effortless as breathing. 4. The power of Kaizen Nomi. Focus on the 1% daily improvement. Small, steady steps create the internal momentum that makes mastery feel easy. 5. Practice mind like water. Mizu no kokoro. Stop leaking energy through emotional overreactions. Reflect reality as it is, then return to instant stillness. 6. Detach to preserve your battery. The opinions of others are ghosts. Detach from praise and insult alike to keep your internal focus protected. 7. Silence the ego. The ego fears being a beginner. Be willing to look ugly and messy in the mud of practice to build the strength of a master. 8. Commitment over emotion. A warrior is not a slave to his feelings. Replace "I don't feel like it" with "I am committed to the way." 9. Start before you are ready. Preparation is often disguised procrastination. The spark of energy you seek is the flame that follows the friction of doing. 10. Your mind is the only sword. Unbreakable energy isn't a physical resource, it is a mental state. Sharpen your will every day, and the world will never be able to exhaust you.